In this box is an Ariat square toe cowboy boot called the Plano. My name is Jeremiah Craig. Let's get into it. I'm so excited for this video today, not only because it's another piece of awesome cowboy boot content for my channel, which if you haven't subscribed to yet, definitely do so, but I'm also really excited about this video because it's my first sponsored video. That means Ariat is paying me to do this review, which I am over the moon about. Thank you so much to Ariat for sponsoring this video. This is something that allows me to bring my content to that next level and for me to continue bringing this content your way. I mean, this stuff isn't cheap, so I really appreciate Ariat supporting me in my efforts. And you might also be thinking, well, doesn't that mean that you're gonna be biased in your review? Well, I'm actually biased in all of my reviews because my opinion is based off of the things that I like in cowboy boots. So I'm going to continue to bring you my opinions on boots, whether they're sponsored or not. It's also in my contract with Ariat to be honest about their boots. So if I'm not, then I'm actually breaking that and I don't get paid. So with that, let's get into talking about this Plano square toe cowboy boot from Ariat. Let's get these out. Oh, I love the colors. I love the colors. I chose the ginger snap color, which looks a little bit more brown than what it does online, but not much. It's still within that reasonable ginger snap palette, right? The shaft is navy or army blue. It's a dark blue color. On some of the pictures online, it looked like it could be almost a dark gray or a black, but now that I have it, it is much more blue in person. I just like colorful. Just bring some color in my life. So to put some color on the shaft here, even though it is sort of a darker blue, is really refreshing to me. So I like this color with the ginger snap color vamp. This is all full grain leather uppers, and I'm noticing right off the bat that it's just really light when compared to other rubber-soled cowboy boots, and that's because it's their Bantamweight technology. I think they have a little card up here. Yeah, it says, "Hey you, lighten up, Bantamweight outsole." So they are really pushing this outsole right now, and it does feel really light. I can't say it's lighter than a leather-soled outsole. Maybe a little. This is my Boulay. It's a leather outsole. I'm just trying to see, like, it might be a little bit lighter. But let's get a scale and see like how close it is to a leather sole weight. Okay, so the Bantamweight boot is coming in at around 1 pound and 10 ounces. All right, let's check the leather. Okay, so this Boulay is coming in at 1 pound and 10 ounces. So they're basically exactly the same. I mean, there might be a couple of tenths difference in weight, which definitely makes the leather sole a little bit lighter by a couple of tenths. But for the most part, they're exactly the same weight. So this Bantamweight outsole Plano cowboy boot is pretty much the exact same weight as a leather outsole cowboy boot. That was kind of a fun experiment. We'll have to do more of that. Now it may look like the Bantamweight outsole is connected to the rest of the uppers here with a double stitched welt, but that's not actually the case. This double stitched welt is not actually doing anything. On a lot of cowboy boots where you'll actually see the welt stitching is on the underside as well as the top, because that stitching is there to hold the outsole to the rest of the boot. This is supposed to connect everything together. But that's not the case here because these are cement constructed, and you can actually see some of the glue cement that has seeped out while this boot has been pressed together. I'll give you a close-up here. So this is all just glued together down here. This stitching isn't actually stitching, it's just there for the Western look. This cement construction that Ariat is using, effectively gluing the boot together down here, it makes it really hard to resole for cobblers. In fact, a lot of cobblers I've heard of don't even take Ariats to work on because it's just so difficult for them to do. However, I have heard of companies who will take these boots and are Ariat resoled certified, and basically you just mail it to them or you just take it to their facilities and then they'll do it for you there. It can be done, but it might be a little bit more difficult than just having a boot that has an actual Goodyear welt instead of just making it look like there's one. And then we get to the heel here, which sort of looks like stacked leather, but it's not. It's just pressed lines to give that stacked leather look. So they're doing a lot of things here to give that Western design, but it's just not actually what it looks like. These boots are also leather lined. The leather isn't really soft, but I like the fact that it is leather lined because from my experience, leather lined boots just stink less than cloth, and I just prefer that. Also in here, we have an ATS Pro insole. Yay! Okay, cool. I think they market this one as being their best insole. It feels nice, you got a little bit of gel, but it's not super floaty. It actually feels kind of nice. It's not like their ATS, which has a little bit of wobble to it, which I'm not really fond of in gels, but they do insoles really well. Let's finally try this boot on. So when you step into a pair of cowboy boots, you want them to be a little bit tight around the widest part of your foot, around this part of your foot right here, okay? And when you have it that snug, you also got to remember that the leather is going to stretch, and you also want some heel slip, about 1 or 2 fingers worth of heel slip. It's okay to have heel slip. In fact, if you don't have heel slip, you're going to get blisters. It works the other way that you would expect it to. This is a very comfortable boot now that I have the right size for me. That foam insole is definitely working to support my foot. This is the value that you get from Ariat. It's in the construction of their insoles. It is kind of stiff leather, but we'll see how it breaks in. All right, so I'm out here testing the Ariat Plano square toes for the first time, walking around in the woods here, and the first thing that I think of is, man, this leather is stiff as hell. It's super stiff out of the box, and it's kind of annoying to break these boots in, but I'm also noticing that it's a nice weight, you know? Even though it is the exact same weight as a leather outsole cowboy boot for the most part, I'm noticing that it is athletic, just like they market, so they're not lying there. This does feel like a very athletic boot. It feels kind of like a hard sneaker, to be honest. A really stiff sneaker, but with a little bit more durability feel on the outsole than a sneaker, but it feels like a stiff sneaker for sure. The first experience with this, I'm still sort of mixed because it feels like a very athletic boot, but I'm just feeling a lot of stress at the top of my foot where the boot definitely needs to be broken in, where that boot bends because the leather is so stiff. So that is causing a little bit of discomfort, but once that breaks in, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how this boot can really feel like. All right, so I am off to the city today. Boston proper, that is. So I'm walking down to the train station right now, and we're gonna give these Plano boots a good city test. They are feeling a little bit more broken in after I cleaned and conditioned them. So that's helping out, but still, this is a pretty stiff boot that has taken a while to get comfy. I am at my meeting in the city, and I gotta say that as this boot breaks in more and more, it's more fun, but it is a really long and arduous break-in period. Still, I'm kind of enjoying it right now in the city. To continue testing the Ariat Plano square toe cowboy boots, I'm gonna use them in working conditions today and change the oil in me and my wife's vehicles here. I mean, they are still pretty stiff, especially with it kind of snowing. Right now, it's a cold one. Then while the oil is draining, we rotate the tires, of course. Time to put on the new filter. I learned a lot about this boot, from walking in the city to walking in the woods to working and changing my oil. I'd have to say my favorite part about this boot is the Bantamweight outsole. It feels very light and athletic and very well balanced. The heel is much lighter than on any other boot that I've tried. Now, I am not a regular to Ariat. In fact, this is the most time that I've ever worn an Ariat boot. And that's one of the things I noticed right away, was that this heel is so much lighter than a leather stacked heel or a wood heel, and it makes the weight distribution of this boot much more even, and it feels like I can do a lot more. My legs worked less to move these boots. Very light, very nice. And the traction on this Bantamweight outsole is also nice. It's sort of in between. You could have definitely had more, but I'm not disappointed with the amount of traction that it has. I didn't slip and fall on my ass or anything on those wet roots in the woods. It kind of looks like a hybrid sole, just so you know, but it's not. So this is a plastic on the outside of the sole here of some sort, or maybe a hard rubber, and then you got the rubber in the middle. So you also get a clean edge like you would from a leather outsole boot, but again, this is not leather, it is some sort of plastic, but still it does look nice with that clean edge. By far my favorite part of this boot was the Bantamweight outsole. The one thing that was tough for me to deal with about this boot was the stiffness of the leather, and even still, it's still really stiff. This is a hard boot to break in, guys. It takes a lot of work, and it's not an enjoyable process either. I gotta be honest. My foot was sort of in pain on the top here where the boot bends, okay, because this leather is so stiff. But as it went on, as I was walking and as I was working, it definitely got more comfortable. I have to say that they were the most comfortable when I wore them yesterday. So I wore them for 7 days straight, and then I took a few days off, and then I put them on again yesterday, and they were very comfortable. It felt like they were finally breaking in, but it took a long time. This was a very interesting boot to test out for me because I've really never tried anything like this before. I mean, it has a glue construction, a cement construction. So again, these double stitches here aren't doing anything. It's just for looks. You know, you have a very lightweight heel with a fake stack leather look, Then you also have the ATS Pro insole, which has been holding up nice. It still looks brand new, even though I wore them every single day. And it is comfortable, more comfortable than just the regular ATS, but still not as comfortable, in my opinion, as the 4LR Ariat insole, which is their base insole, but I still like it the best. It's all foam, it's spectacular, I love it. What do you guys think of the Plano Ariat square toe cowboy boot with the Bantamweight sole? Definitely let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and again, a huge thanks to Ariat for sponsoring this video. It was an incredible experience. I loved making it, and I hope that we get more sponsors in here. It's really helping me take this channel to the next level. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.
Light as a feather, but stiff as hell. You gotta really work those Ariats to wear them well. But I'm light as a feather with these on my feet. Through the woods, through the workday, and on the street. Yeah. My name is Jeremiah Craig. Thank you for watching today. I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace, everybody, and thanks to Ariat.